damage pattern looks like, or basically where someone of Mr. O'Keefe's height's arm would contact the rear tail light.
And also the family of the perpetrator. Going forward, we Mogans are choosing to put our energy and focus into honoring Maddie's too short life.
I mean, like you can't remember my name. I don't remember.
What is no big deal to us?
Oh, sorry about that. A bit early there on the restart, but let's get into the flow of today's show, because unfortunately I unfortunately started way too and pressed the wrong button, and now we are here. So let me not embarrass myself any further. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ketchup Court. I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Source and Order. So it has been such a journey on going on this and learning about this case, because I was always wondering what the hype was about and what this why this case got as much popularity as it did. And really and truly, I did not expect to see what I've come to see in just the 3 weeks of watching this trial. And I can't wait to really get into what has been happening for this particular week. But before we get into this week and also recap a bit on last week, I just want to announce that, well, not announce, but really and truly, we are going to be giving you updates in regards to the David case after going through the Monica Sementilli trial, the Celeste Rivas case, sorry about that, and also the Anna Kepner case. So we are going to be giving updates in regards to that after going through the Monica Sementilli trial. Without further, let's begin this whole facade destroyer. Let's go into and literally go through what we've been talking about on the previous episode of Source and Order. Let's go.
Baker was talking to Sementilli. Hey, we got this, Mercedes, we got this.
We knew that the suspects left through the garage to the kitchen door into the garage. It seemed very unlikely that you would look around and look way up here and see a DVR in a garage.
Second, 1 second.
So it seemed...
Stop, I'm talking.
So yeah, that was last week episode. And last week episode, we really went through, as you heard from there, we had to split it into two parts because there was a lot of information being given out in that same week. So that was week 4, I believe, and we're now on week 5. So week 4 had Curtis Davis giving out a lot of the data dump, which we went through on the part 1. And then on part 2 was Detective Vallerano and Chris Gable. And from Detective Vallerano's testimony, if we can just quickly go back into that, because there was a narrative play that I didn't really catch until what happened on this episode, right? Because what happened on this week, as I was watching and seeing all this unfold, what happened basically was an unexpected, well, it was some of the evidence that we're going to get into that's going to tie back to this. And it goes right back to what Detective Vallerano was basically saying when he was escorting Monica. So let's listen to the testimony really quickly to just go through what was going on.
To see any bags or anything was left over. Check, basically, go through every section of the courtroom, jury box, the audience, and basically
just go back a little bit.
According to your typical protocol, the next day around 7:40 in the morning, what did you do?
So normally I come in, the courtroom's empty. I do a security check, basically go through every section of the courtroom, jury box, the audience, and basically check to see any bags or anything was left over. Then I make my way into the lockup. I check the cell before any inmates get there, because in the morning we do the calendar, and then we get the inmates for the either Department 101 or 102. So after that was cleared, I walked up the stairs and I checked all the railings, and that's when I noticed on the railing on the second floor landing, going up to the 10th floor lockup, there was a baggie rolled up, and we call it a kite.
What's a kite?
Kite is a way inmates communicate between themselves. So it could have been either narcotics, or it was rolled up really tight. So I saw it on the inside portion of the railing, on the bottom portion of the rail as it going up.
Going up the stairs?
So I immediately called my sergeant, which was Bob Westfall, and I told him, if you don't mind checking the video cameras for the day prior to see if anything was placed at the time when Baker was going up the stairs. And that's when he discovered he actually not placed one, he actually placed 2 items.
Okay.
So that's...
Yeah, so let's go back into this, because what he explained there is very important, because his job, what I didn't really go through, because I just thought he was just giving mundane testimony. I just thought it was just, okay, procedural, technical witness, let's get it out of the way. The main thing that he was saying was he heard Monica and Baker communicating with one another. And of course, and when I got to this, well, at least this week anyway, that's when it hit me why this testimony is really important. I'm going to refer back to it once we go through to show you what I mean. But definitely, he went through the formation that he took. When he was transporting both Monica. I'm not going to play the whole thing, even though it's quite short, but he was between Monica and between Baker. What I didn't highlight on the previous show was, on the previous episode anyway, was the fact that I think it's here that he says it. It was, this was...
For the stairwell as you're going up the 101. Something on the bottom.
That's the one
the
there.
rail, the inside portion of the rail.
So that's what he was making reference to in regards to Baker hiding stuff. So that was, we just remembered he was walking up the stairs. Baker had a long way up, and Monica was basically waiting. That's strategic, in my opinion. But before I get into that, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but it was, in my opinion, it seems strategic from both of them. And his primary job, I'm talking about Vallerano, when he was basically in the role that he's in, his job is to essentially make sure that these inmates overseeing a lot of inmates, gang activity, that inmates that are involved in gang activity, financial fraud, all those things that might want to communicate with one another to plan an escape. He's supposed to curb that. So he knows these techniques.
Right hand.
It's right hand. And looking back.
This is where you said he was lingering and you were directing him to continue up the top of the stairs?
Yes. Now he goes to the top of the railing, inside portion, he places a second item.
Which you couldn't see from your vantage point at the
No,
bottom.
that's why I sent him all the way to the door, because there's nothing to put on the wall. It'll be obvious.
That's you coming up?
That's me coming up. That's when he's talking back to Sementilli.
And that's when I believe that he heard what Baker says to Monica, which was basically hang in there, something along those lines. Hang in there. I'm gonna we got this Madonna. That's what we heard, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. That was the bulk of his testimony. Let me give you a quick recap on Chris Gable's testimony. And Chris Gable just basically went on to testify to the meaning of the messages that was in the kite. We went through that. I'm not going to go through that on this particular episode. But the main point that I want to highlight from Chris Gable's testimony was, there is a couple. There is a lot. There is a couple. But but it's from Chris Gable's testimony. the main thing that I found from his testimony was the passcode conundrum, which was Baker's passcode being used as the day of birth, where Monica gave the investigators 1972, which would be Fabio Sementilli's day of birth. They tried to open it with that didn't work. Objectively, and again, this is something that I picked up, but with the background, at least with the idea of this messaging, because it flew over my head in regards to how they're talking like this. It flew over my head until this week, and then it made sense why they would be talking like this, and it made sense also why Monica would forget that she had changed the passcode from 1972 to Baker's birthday. So without further, let's get into this week and get into this particular episode and the key witnesses that I'm going to be focusing on for this episode. Let's go.
This other male seated, the one that you didn't recognize.
On the sofa?
When I met Monica, she was the happiest person I've ever seen. She looked like she was a 22-year-old kid going on spring break.
Her demeanor then, she's like, oh my God, I feel like Thelma and Louise with you.
And we see the actual content of the message because he's not using it and picked it out. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
Okay. It was a massive week. I'm not going to lie, because this particular week, it was a lot of witnesses. I think it was 16 in total that testified. So many witnesses that I had to condense and try to get a lot of the substance and basically rearrange and just try to make sense of everything that was going on. I just want to say hi to Trial Channel. Welcome. I appreciate you for joining. Yes, I can't wait to, because I have a lot to say. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. Let me go in. So like I said, we are based on the number of witnesses that's come up. I'm not gonna spend too long on them. If I'm being honest with you, I'm going to essentially group it all into foundation witnesses. I am going to get to the key witnesses, but to understand why those witnesses are really key to deliver what I believe anyway, that the prosecution were really trying to send that week, I need to give a lot of the foundation and a lot of the witnesses that came up. Some of them are out of order, but I feel like because of how many people were testifying, that I had to like kind of put them in narrative sequence. But most of it is chronological. So even though I split it up, it's still chronological. So I will highlight where the deviation from the prosecution is. It's not much. It's probably like one or two witnesses that are just not following the proper order. But anyway, let me move on. So the technical witnesses that basically testified was Richard Guzman, and his testimony was really quick. He was just testifying in regards to both Monica and Baker hugging and kissing. Basically, he was one of the detectives that was part of the SIS team that was tracking Monica and Baker throughout that March period when Chris Gable took over. So that was what he was testifying to, and how they were entering a vehicle and walking to a bar called Good Night around 8 p.m. So that was his testimony. It goes back to March. It just keeps, that's, in my opinion, he went first because it was to keep that idea, or to make sure that it ties together with Curtis Davis' testimony and keep that timeline fresh in their mind. So Corbin Reld also testified really quick. He was only testifying to putting tracking devices on the car, etc. And then he also talked about how he made a mistake, and it was Baker driving the Ford F-150 back to Monica Sementilli's residence. I did know the residence from early on, but that change, I know it down as well. Whether that would make a difference or not going forward, I have no idea. Jane Kwan She was a criminalist that was collecting from the scene, I believe. I believe she recovered a couple of items from a Ford type vehicle. She also mentions Chrysler, but I believe it's the Ford vehicle that was mentioned from Corbin Raul testimony. She was the 29th witness. So she mentioned about recovering a racquetball bag as well as SD cards. This SD card is very important because from last week we heard we on episode 7 we heard Chris Gable testify to Monica forwarding an email from I believe it was Ryan Verner. I don't know, one of the two, Ryan Verner or detective that's now dead. I just forgot his name. But anyway, let me move on. That email that she forwarded about the insurance being cleared was sent to Baker. Baker saved it onto the SD card, which was referenced by Chris Gable. Now we have that SD card in. We don't know what else is in the SD card, so likely they're gonna provide more witnesses to testify to that. And Jane Kwan also testifies to receipts that were found in the Ford. And then the next witness after her was Randy Zapata. This one was quite important for me because he found DNA profiles matching to Robert Baker that placed him at the scene. So DNA profiles was found on items found in the kitchen floor. 2 items this was. I'm not gonna go through a lot of it in detail, but yeah, 2 items were found that was on the kitchen floor. And then on the kitchen floor, on the left door panel, as well as the left seat control. Those items, so those were the areas. I only noted down the areas because that's a lot of places to go to like attempt a robbery and you don't go for where the valuables are likely to be at. So I'm imagining if you're planning to rob or planning to do a home invasion, you know, something like that, you would at least have an idea of the place. But it seems to me that this was really targeted because I think there was testimony already from Chris Gable that the DVR system was in the garage. I believe there was also testimony from Ryan Verner as well. I can't confirm. I have to go back on my notes and just double check. But it was in the garage, and I believe Chris Gable said it was on the top of the wardrobe or on the top of the cupboard. So that's very important. But I want to focus on what was testified to by Detective Friedrich, who was also part of the SIA. He was a former LAPD member, but he was part of the SIS crew. And this was the part that really caught my eye because this was Monica and Baker.
That's my voice.
Is that you broadcasting?
Yes.
And also taking photographs?
Someone's taking photographs. I believe this might be Detective Blouse, if I remember correctly. But I was definitely broadcasting the movement, walking to the vehicle, and then looking at the right front of the car.
You see that? Let me just get this. Sorry. By the way, how is my volume? Let me know what my volume sounds like because I know I received a lot of noise complaints and I tried to fix that on this episode. So let me know what you think. But anyway, this was Monica and Robert Baker. And this is quite interesting. I want to point out that it's interesting for a lot of reasons, and that is where they might have a feeling that they're being tracked. At least that's what I gathered from it, because it seems to me that they are feeling as if someone is watching them, etc., because they really scanned and were surveilling the vehicle. Thank you so much for that feedback, Trial Channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, volume A-okay, we can continue on. But that was the only thing that I gathered from this particular testimony in regards with Friedrich. So now we need to go into the other witnesses that really shaped this trial, or at least really provided a clear picture. And the only person out of order was Ernest Vallerano. That's the next person that we're going to go into, because he was supposed to go on, he went on, I should say, after Corbin wrote. And when he went on, he was giving testimony about the background of between his friendship with Fabio and Monica Sementilli, the family, etc. So he provided that great testimony. Of course, I believe that the prosecution put him in there so that the jury doesn't lose track of what really matters, which is Monica and Baker's relationship. So so that's why I believe they put him in that, sandwich him between Jane Kwan, Randy Zapata, and Corbin Rao, just to bring that narrative thread back in. But definitely he testified to Monica having financial troubles, and this is like, look, I'm getting excited because there's a lot to unpack from that, because we have already heard a lot of testimony, but the state are building on that, building on the testimony that they have already given in regards to Monica having financial troubles, because we all were thinking, at least I was thinking that the money troubles was because she wasn't receiving the insurance payout, all of those things, and she knew that she was entitled to receive something. But then we heard from Wella employees that she actually was getting paid, that she actually was receiving money. So that is what perked up my eye, and we're now starting to hear more and more of Monica having financial troubles, which is just weird, because if you're having financial troubles, anyway, if you're having financial troubles and you're getting paid at the same time, you are also driving a new Mustang, as seen by Matthew Nurse. I'm wondering where this Mustang comes from, or when Matthew Nurse even saw her with a new Mustang, because the date was never established, all of these things. But we are gonna get into all of that. I just want to go into this testimony that Ernest Vallerano, or as Trial Channel calls him, Ernie, on her video. But anyway, let's listen to this particular part of the testimony in regards to the money troubles.
What happened?
Well, actually what happened was the auto shop in Manhattan Beach that I took Fabio to and was friendly with the owner. I told him what happened because he had met Fabio, and I told him, look, his widow needs to sell this car as quickly as possible. You know any buyers? And he has a big network in the Porsche community. So he made a few phone calls, and like a day or two later he called me back. He said, there's a sports newscaster who I sent the pictures of the car. He's really interested, but he's away for 2 weeks. And when he gets back, he would like to buy it.
Now, what Ernie goes on to testify to was really bizarre. We're not going to go into a testimony. I'll just sum it up. But Monica had received offers for this Porsche, and she ended up selling the Porsche for $15,000 lower than the value that she was even receiving from. She just wanted to get rid of the car. I did note that as, well, that's a bit peculiar. Why would you want to sell below market value? But I forgave it because, cars are cars, they're depreciating assets, and you don't necessarily want to wait for the next person to come and might flake on you. So with that rational mind, I thought, okay, cool, it's nothing nefarious, let's move on. However, this particular next testimony was what caught my eye because it connects with the other people that we've heard so far, and I'm pretty sure that once you hear it, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Morning by the time of the May memorial?
Sustained.
Did she appear to you to be somebody who was still grieving the loss of her husband from what you observed?
Sustained.
Did you see the defendant crying or anything of that nature?
It's overruled. Overruled.
What I saw was, it would seem like a performance of my way, which left me a little, sent a chill up my spine, actually.
Sustained.
Okay, so the chill up the spine is obviously stricken, well, not stricken, but sustained, but the performance part just adds to what we heard from Efrain Gutierrez. So that just corroborates that testimony that people were just not buying it. It wasn't just his opinion. It was also what the detective saw. So that's literally it. And there's another part of his testimony that I found that was really, really interesting. And that was when he testified in regards to the sandwiches that was being served. That because he also testified also to and I did note this down. It was investments that Fabio made in regards to Bitcoin, and I thought, okay, that might come in handy in the future because we're talking about finances, all those things. I'm pretty sure it's going to come relevant at one point. So that's one that I tracked down for the future. But the most important part, at least for me anyway, at this point, is the fact that he was giving a bit more context in regards to the moment that I believe it was a week before the entire murder had occurred, that he testified in regards to Fabio being offered about Fabio being offered sandwiches and he just didn't eat it and he just walked away, which signals to tension. But the next part is the interesting part.
Weird. She had to put it down, and he just. The time I'm talking about.
Yes.
I accepted it gladly, but he didn't. He just like it was weird. She had to put it down, and he just ignored it. Like it wasn't the normal reaction that you would see from Fabio.
Okay, I'm confused. Are you saying he didn't eat the sandwiches?
No, he didn't eat the sandwich. I ate mine. He just left his there.
Okay.
And then we went, I ate it, and then we fixed it, and that was it.
Okay. I'm a little confused, Mr. Vallerano. You spoke to the LAPD. You were in fact interviewed.
Yes.
Were you not, on the 21st of February, about a month later?
Yes, I was there, yes.
Okay. And you described to them specifically about the power washer that Fabio had bought, correct? Mm-hmm. And that he'd asked you over to the house to fix the power washer, correct? And you came over to fix the power washer, and you thought it was really nice that Monica had made sandwiches and brought them out.
I did.
But nowhere in there did you ever describe this incident you're testifying about today, where you say that she brought out the sandwiches and Fabio looked upset, correct?
That's true. And when he asked me, I was shocked. I was a little appalled that I remember distinctively, he said, do you know if Fabio had an affair? And I said, no, he would never. And he said, do you know if Fabio suspected Monica of having an affair? And I was kind of upset that he even asked me that. I said, no way. I would have never believed that she was, capable of that.
Why would you, I want to highlight this because this was the first mistake that I knew that the defense is just, they are shell-shocked, in my opinion, because all through this trial, I've seen them make the best objections. Like, a lot of evidence hasn't come in because of their objections. And this was the moment that you're supposed to object to non-responsive, because this wasn't really the question that was asked. And yet, it was let in because it's bad that this guy doesn't even believe that Monica would have an affair. and yet he finds out, and he's just blown away. And all through this trial that we've heard so far is just testimony after testimony about the affair. Of course, we know that the defense were not hiding from that fact, but it's just for him to know that, especially what's on direct examination about the financial issues. They didn't see what was coming in regards to the next order of witnesses. At least in my opinion, well, like I said, they are going to get the list of the witnesses, for scheduling and all of that. I just want to correct myself on the previous week, but they're not going to know which order that they're going to come in, basically. But anyway, let's move on from Ernie and go on to the next witness, who goes by the name of Salvatore Polera. Now, he was the 33rd witness after, and he came on after David Friedrich. So he continued on with the character witnesses, which we are all gonna get to. He was running the salon. I believe the testimony was when I was in Canada or something like that. He wanted to get in contact with Fabio, all of those things. But the most interesting part of the testimony that he gave was when he was mentioning an event on the 11th of June 2017, saying that she said that Monica basically said at that event that she was scared of the police because they have found Fabio's jewelry, and Wella had also cut her off, specifically Sal Moshiri has cut her off. We already heard from Sal that wasn't the case, that basically that Wella was even continuing to pay them, and all of those things. So when that testimony really got to that point, I was okay. This is masterful, but it was what happened on Cross. This was embarrassing for me. Let's go into that cross examination right here, because I don't think you can justify anything happening here. We are going to run through it.
Just trying to understand the question.
Yes, I'll clarify for you.
Yeah.
The prosecutor asked you on her direct questioning whether Monica told you that she was getting special deals, discounted hotel rooms in Las Vegas. You remember that?
Yes.
And prior to Fabio's death, Monica didn't communicate to you whether she was getting a great deal or a horrible deal on hotel rates anywhere in the world, right?
No, she didn't tell me that she was getting any hotel deals or anything like that, no. She did mention that she was going on a trip to Myrtle Beach to walk the golf course. That Fabio was going to go for his 50th birthday.
Okay, but you were also living in Canada between, right, so you didn't know where Monica was going to lunch on the weekends either.
No.
You testified about this Elvis Presley American Idol with Fabio. When was that conversation?
2009.
Okay, so 8 years prior to Fabio's passing, is that right?
Yeah.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything further about you? Just briefly, when did the defendant tell you that she was going to Myrtle Beach to walk the golf course for Fabio's birthday?
At Morella's house at the 1 month anniversary.
Did the defendant tell you she was going with her lover?
No.
She mentioned she had one?
No.
Nothing further.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
flipping neck. I think I just lost my microphone. Damn again. My bad on that one. So what was I saying? So I think I have to repeat all of that again. I do apologize. I did not even realize that my mic was out. Anyway, so what I was saying was basically Melanie Garibay is going to give testimony in regards to the Vegas trip that Monica took, and the one thing from Salvatore's testimony that you can glean from that was that Monica was going around telling everyone that was around Fabio, that knew Fabio at some point, that she wanted to go to Myrtle Beach. The reasons that she gave varies from people to people, and we're going to get into that later on. But it goes back to the facade that we are bringing up on episode 6. It goes into that facade. And we're going to unpack all of it. But when we reach this Wella employee, a former Wella employee anyway, I believe she's former, but anyway, her name is Melanie, and she was the one that booked the hotel rooms on the 15th of April. And she also testifies in regards to Monica being ecstatic. This was after the April trip on the 22nd of May, when she had given testimony in regards to her being ecstatic to have bought a new Mustang. Let's watch.
Did you go to the Sementilli home to meet with the defendant regarding a Trend Vision show that you were going to be putting on in July of 2017?
Yes, I did. I went with my colleague Carol.
Carol Protap?
Carol Protap, yes.
And what was the purpose in going to the home to meet with the defendant regarding this show after Fabio's death?
So all year after Fabio's death, we had been kind of doing tributes and memorials at all the shows that we were producing. This one, particularly the North American Trend Vision Awards, we went over there to talk about her participation and how we wanted to honor Fabio at this event. So that's what that conversation and the visit was all about.
Okay, so you went over there to talk to her about her participation in the show you were producing?
Correct.
Okay. And when you got to the house, did the defendant tell you that she had just purchased a new vehicle?
She did. She was really excited. She was excited to show the car to Carol and I, and said, "You would have been so proud of me, so proud of me. I did an Academy Award winning performance so that I could get a good deal on the car."
Did she tell you that she was a great actress?
Great actress. I really remember the Academy Award winning performance.
Did she tell you that she bragged about using Fabio's death in order to get the good deal?
Oh, wow.
Yes, she said that she played, the grieving widow to the advantage of getting a great deal on the car.
And then at that point, did she actually show you the vehicle?
She did. She took us out to the garage, and I remember specifically there was lights that shined down from when you opened the door. It had the Mustang logo, and it was just I remember that specifically.
Okay, so actually, let me finish.
And when she was talking to you about the great deal that she got on this new Mustang, did she tell you that she traded in Fabio's truck to get the car?
I don't recall.
Okay.
I believe so.
And at that point, did she tell you that she was going to be traveling in the next couple of days to Myrtle Beach?
She did. I remember her saying that, she was going to Myrtle Beach to walk the golf course because it was one of the things on Fabio's bucket list, and she didn't play golf, but she was going to, honor his memory by doing that.
And did you ask her about whether or not she was planning on moving back to Toronto?
I did. I think in different conversations that we had, I asked because I know that obviously she was from there, and the girls, and she just said she didn't know. Things were taking longer than she had planned or expected, or she just kind of seemed frustrated at the process of trying to figure out, what had happened to Fabio.
Okay, so that's all I really wanted from her testimony, because again, like I said, she was going around. We have already seen previews of that with Salvatore. Now we're getting it from Melanie. She was going around the people around Wella saying that she wants to respect Fabio's memory. We got a lot more about that here on Melanie Garibay's testimony. So now I want to move on to the next witness that really had my mind boggling on how to order this show, because she is quite a key witness that even had me questioning a lot of things in regards to what was testified to on episode 6, I believe, when Curtis Davis was going through the data. I'm going to explain that more in a bit, but she testifies to playing in racquetball with Elise. We already heard from her. Faye, I don't think we're yet to hear from her. I'm not sure if she's called, but Faye. And she also played with Monica and Robert Baker. But the part that really caught my eye is the fact that she testifies to knowing about Monica and Robert, dating. But not just that, she also knew that Monica was married, because that's what Robert Baker told her. And she also testifies to even going out with Robert Baker and Monica on a double date. That they were double dating, and her and her husband would go out with both of them, and they were holding hands together and doing all of those things. And it just boggles my mind in so many ways, because I'm like that she's taken, but nothing could prepare me for what had happened on the 12th of March. Nothing could prepare me for all of this happening on the 12th of March. Let's go into the testimony, and then I'm gonna go back a little bit. Let's go.
Exhibit 203, there's a 1 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, that's Robert and Monica.
And was this one of the nights that you went out with them, double dated to Delmonico's?
I believe so.
You've seen these photographs before, correct?
Yes, I have.
And showing you People's 203, page 2. Again, is this another photograph taken on your one of your dinner nights at Delmonico's?
Correct.
And again, showing you People's 203, there's a 3 in the lower left corner, same date, March 12th, 2016. These appear to be, again, photographs taken the night that the two couples went out together for lobsters.
Correct.
Showing you People's 203, page 4. Again, is this to the inside booth area? Is that a photograph of you and Ricardo?
Yes, it is.
And we see you in the upper right photograph, a portion of you, correct, with the side view of the defendant?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a set of...
So, questions I got to ask at this point after hearing this testimony, and I really considered making maybe the key witness of it, but you're gonna learn why I didn't. But because end of the day, I'm wondering after these testimonies, she knows already that these guys were dating, and they were together, they were even holding hands, they were having fun at the dinner and all those things. But I gotta ask the question: was she part of the Swingers crew? Because we heard testimony already, or we heard about her being part of Swingers. We already heard her lifestyle lounge. Anyway, we already heard when she was speaking with the undercover woman that Chris Gable had, put her in the Perkins operation, that she was having sex with Baker as well as having sex with our people. I have to ask, was she part of it? Because for her to be this nonchalant, and met them, literally, and gone out with them literally in March 2016. Isn't that a bit weird? But anyway, she already knows that Baker was married to Fabio. Sorry, that Monica was married to Fabio, which she sends a message of condolences on February. But that's not really the most interesting part. The most interesting part is what she described about Baker to have when he had seen Baker on the Thursday night after the murder. So after the murder had occurred, she had seen Baker, and this is when Baker voluntarily told her that Fabio had died. So let's go in and listen to that testimony right now.
On the courts that day.
On Monday? No.
Yeah. On Thursday of that.
I'm so glad I wasn't alone with this thinking. I'm so glad I wasn't. That flashed through my mind the minute I went through. I was interested. I was like, wait, was she part of Swingers crew? But that flashed through my mind. I'm glad I wasn't alone. But yeah, let's move on.
January 26th. Did you go again to your racquetball league night?
Yes, I did.
And did you typically go with Ricardo on his night since you were taking other classes, and did he usually go with you on yours?
Yes, we're almost at the gym every night, so playing along.
And when you were there that night on Thursday, January 26th, did you see Robert Baker there that night?
Yes, he was there.
Okay. Was that the first time you had seen him that week? I know you said you'd go almost every night, or you went almost every night. Did you see him that night?
Yes, I did see him.
Was that the first time you had seen him that week?
I believe so.
And did he tell you about the fact that Monica's husband had been murdered?
He did. He volunteered the information and told us that Monica's husband got murdered. Apparently a robbery gone wrong, and that's what happened.
That's how he described it?
Yes.
Okay. And did you notice anything that night that you spoke to your husband and other people at the gym about?
Yes, I noticed a cut on his index finger.
On that Thursday night, did he have that injury bandaged in any manner?
It was not bandaged, it was open.
Okay. The next time that you saw him after that Thursday night, did he have that injury bandaged?
Yes.
Did you ask him what happened?
I did ask him what happened that Thursday, and he said he had an accident with, he hit the door or something. So that's
he said something about hitting his finger in a door?
Hitting the door.
Did he ever say anything about injuring himself in a racquetball accident?
No, he didn't.
Did he ever say anything about being hit with a racket?
No.
We know what that means. Let's go into this. I must write this down. Baker cuts finger. I know that's gonna become really important. This was Thursday revelation to him. But the most important part was the fact that it was said that robbery gone wrong. I don't know anything about this whole, because we haven't received a lot of information yet, but based on what has been received so far, I don't think the detectives would have told Monica about this. Or maybe they did, and Monica was the one to relay it to Robert Baker. But there's two scenarios. If Monica told Robert, and the detective did tell Monica, I don't know, so don't no one tell me what happened. But if the detectives told Monica, and I'm going to have to check my notes to see what the conversation was like. Anyway, if the detectives told Monica that it was a robbery gone wrong, then of course that means Monica and Robert Baker were in constant conversation after the murder. This was supposedly the man that was stalking and harassing her, but they are in constant conversation. If the detective never divulged that information to Monica. This means that they were planning this. It all hinges on those two scenarios. But again, like I said, I don't know. I'm inclined to believe that the detectives had told Monica that it was a supposed robbery, because we found out from Gable that the robbery team went in on the SIS team anyway, went in on March 2017. So this is Thursday, January, that same January. So that's very key, and I thought I note that down. So Baker said that. Let's go back into the testimony. The next testimony anyway, who goes by the name of Cesar Aviles. And I thought this was probably the funniest guy, because when he got into the stand, he did something that I didn't think I just didn't think was possible.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Let's move on. This is what he did.
You look very. Did you also meet?
Yes, that is correct. So many years. So
Okay.
He couldn't even.
not 100% sure. It's been so many years.
Sementilli, her jacket,
Yes.
looking at her face. Is that Monica Sementilli? The jacket? No.
Can't.
No.
No.
He couldn't. Well, he did actually end up identifying her, but he had difficulty in doing so. But the most important part of his testimony, of his short testimony anyway, it was the foundation that he set here, and I thought that this was stupidly important for so many reasons, and I mean so many reasons, like so many reasons. Let's listen to the testimony.
Tell you she wanted to do at that point in time when Miss Burlingame brought her into your office.
She wanted to go over the options about trading in the car or returning the car. Those are the things that I handle. At that time, I was the sales manager.
Okay.
So I gave her the different options.
Okay. And at that point, did she tell you that her husband had been killed?
Yes, ma'am. He was communication, and he was stated to Gail and myself. Yes, ma'am.
And what did she tell you about her husband's murder?
She was crying, and she had stated that her husband had been killed while inside the vehicle in the parking lot of her property.
She told you that he had been killed inside of that vehicle that you had leased to Fabio?
As I recall, yes, ma'am.
Guys, killed inside vehicle. Guys, I don't think you all, just literally, just based on everything that we have been talking about all through this testimony, all through this whole coverage, we have never heard anything about him, Fabio, getting killed inside of a vehicle. It was inside of a house. That was established from the onset. And now I get why that had to be the case, because wow. Imagine being in the jury hearing that piece of information. When I heard it, and I was like, I think I was writing my notes. I literally stopped writing and I was like, what the? I rewinded back just to hear what the guy had to say. It was, my jaw dropped. Like, why? What would be the reason that you would make that comment and say that he died inside the vehicle? But let's continue hearing the testimony.
Did she tell you that because he had pulled into the driveway, was murdered inside the vehicle, that she wasn't comfortable driving the vehicle anymore?
Sustained.
Did she tell you why she didn't want to keep the vehicle?
She was not comfortable driving the vehicle around because of the accident on the vehicle, because her husband had been killed while inside the vehicle. Yes, ma'am.
She didn't describe it as an accident. She said he had been killed?
Killed. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
At any point in time, did she say to you that one of the reasons she wanted to return the car was because of the price?
No, ma'am.
Did she say anything, did she mention anything to you with respect to price?
No, ma'am.
How long of a meeting was this first one?
Within probably 30 to 45 minutes at most with myself. I know it was a little bit longer with Gail though.
During this 30 to 45 minutes with you, did she cry throughout the meeting?
Throughout the meeting, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, throughout the meeting.
And at that point, did you explain what her options were?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you offer to do, given that she told you her husband had been murdered or killed inside the vehicle?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Sure. What did you offer to do to assist her, given that she told you her husband had been killed inside the vehicle?
That she could trade in the vehicle or purchase another vehicle if she wanted to.
So you told her she could just return the car and
Yes.
be done?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't need to purchase a new car or extend the lease or anything like that?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you also tell her that if she wished that you would assist her or someone at the dealership would assist her with a new car if she wanted?
Yes, ma'am.
During her 30 to 45 minute meeting with you, when she was crying, did she use her phone at all?
Throughout the whole 30 minutes, a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And could you hear the person's voice on the other end?
He was a male for sure. I just didn't know who he was.
Okay.
Okay, so Monica was speaking to a male on the phone. The most important part that I wanted to get out of the testimony was the fact that not just this, it's horrifying to even learn that she had said that Fabio had been killed in the car, but I'm guessing that she has to have done this to get a better deal. Like she just has to, because of the option to even trade the vehicle in for another vehicle. And we are gonna get into then the person that he mentioned, Gail, later on. But the witness that was before him was Ron Ray. We're also gonna get into him, but who is Robert Baker's friend. But another friend of Robert Baker also took the stand, and this was Roger Brown. His testimony was pretty good as well, in my opinion. You know, it offered a lot of backdrop and a lot of history in regards to Robert Baker, and he testifies to a very, and I mean very key testimony that, again, I think it was between Roger Brown and Sheila Salehial, who I wanted to pick as my key witnesses, but who really shaped this trial. But I just couldn't. Roger Brown testified into about the first meeting anyway, in regard the first meeting when Robert Baker had introduced Monica to him. Let's listen to that testimony right now, because Roger, this is Roger, yeah, because Roger and I believe Roger and Baker goes all the way back to the 90s. We're going to talk a bit more about that. Let's move on.
Yes.
Can you please identify where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
She's sitting right there wearing like a beige outfit.
So is it fair in 2016, around your birthday, you said June is when you first met who you referred to as Madonna, who's been identified as the defendant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, went too far ahead.
You knew her as?
Went too far ahead.
I can remember that him and her came to my birthday party at El Casa Grande in Granada Hills.
Okay. Do you know who, when you say her, do you know the name of that person?
You want her real name or the name that I know?
The name you knew her as.
Madonna.
Do you see Madonna in court?
Yes.
Can you please identify where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
She's sitting right there wearing like a beige outfit.
So is it fair in 2016, around your birthday, you said June is when you first met who you referred to as Madonna, who's been identified as the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. Did Baker identify her as Madonna, or did she identify herself as Madonna, if you know?
Baker introduced me to her as Madonna.
Okay, and did she respond and correct him in any way?
No.
So as far as you knew, her name was Madonna.
Yes.
Then that birthday party, did you have any particular interaction with the defendant?
No.
From June 6, 2016 until he showed up at your house in February of 2017, did you see her at any time in between then?
Repeat that?
Did you see her from the date of your birthday in 2016 until Baker came to your house in February or Valentine's Day? Did you see her during that time frame?
Yes.
Where did you see her?
He brought her to my apartment.
When did he bring her to your apartment? I know. Estimates.
I know it was February 2017. I can't tell you the dates.
Okay, so his testimony was crucial because we know why. Because it goes right back to Detective Vallerano's testimony, and he remembered clearly that it was Madonna. And I think another witness came up to testify that in regards to this Madonna name. I think he said Madonna, but there was another name, Matilda. I don't know. So there was a name confusion somewhere that I'm just having a hard time recalling right now. But essentially, Robert Baker was the one in June 2016, which was his birthday, to have introduced Monica to him and calling her Madonna. Clearly, this is a secret identity to keep the relationship quiet. But of course, like I was saying, he is still friends with Robert Baker. He didn't deny that all through the trial. They go way back into when he was managing a strip club and Robert Baker was managing porn stars. He even says that Robert Baker basically that Robert Baker essentially was was managing someone that goes by the name of Nikki Fairchild, who we come to learn was David Michaels from the Nevada versus David Michaels trial, the woman that beheaded her husband. Weird law around that, but yeah, so it all connects back to him. And there was and they kept mentioning Baker's vehicle, and I'm gonna note it down here because I know he's gonna come back later on, and is the Ford Expedition. It's gonna come back later on, not this one, not today, because there was no testimony after him in regards to the Ford Expedition. Also, Howard Lynch was mentioned, and I feel like he's gonna be mentioned again. Probably, he was apparently the attorney that was playing basketball with Robert Baker. So Howard Lynch was mentioned, and then also not just Howard Lynch. I think there was one more person that was mentioned, and this was, and I believe the name of this person that was mentioned, I think it was on Redirect, and it was Alfred Birdsong. All of these names, is going to be. I feel like they are going to play a very key part, or maybe I'm overthinking it. I have no idea, but these were the foundational witnesses that built up to my main witnesses. So I'm gonna do a poll and ask which witnesses would you have picked from the 6 here. So let me know which one you would have picked for me to choose into into the key witnesses, which ones you thought, because the first key witness, as you saw in a title card, as going through this, going into this stream, it was Alicia Truesdale. And Alicia Truesdale was Fabio's assistant. So we're going to start with her. And there were so many reasons for me picking her, as because her testimony, in my opinion, was really, it was really, I don't know, man. I don't know. There was something about her testimony that was really eye-opening, at least for me, because you would think that she doesn't really have, that much to share. But when you dig into what she had to share and what she did, and the information that she gave, I think that it played a big role into why she was, why Monica Sementilli was found guilty, if it wasn't the whole car thing, etc. But anyway, I'm gonna go into her testimony, and I think she went on to testify after before David Friedrich, and David Friedrich followed her testimony. So this was, so the ordering makes sense because, as we saw from David Friedrich, Monica and Baker were starting to look around the car, and this was the context, at least behind all of what was presented before her, which would be Randy Cepeda and David Friedrich. So let's go into her testimony, and she testifies into handling the finances, handling Fabio's schedule, etc. But before we do continue, I just want to say, I haven't said it yet, hit the like button if you're enjoying any part of this stream. I do want to again apologize if you're watching this back on replay and you had some technical difficulties. I do want to apologize. I'll put the timestamps down. I always do it for every stream, but I'll definitely signify the technical difficulties part so that you can skip over. I do apologize for all of that. My system went fritz. But anyway, let's listen to Alicia Truesdale testimony, and yeah, let me get your thoughts on what you think of this so far.
Dinner, they seemed, it was, at the dinner, they seemed, it was, conversation as usual, a kind of thing. We went to an Italian dinner place, but it seemed as the evening kind of went on, it got a little, I don't know, it was a little different.
Different in what way?
Well, it wasn't quite the camaraderie, I think, that we normally experienced when we were all together.
Okay. And what did that have to do with the relationship between Fabio and his wife?
I'm sorry.
Was it their relationship that was different, or was it his relationship with the lead team?
It kind of seemed his relationship with all of us, kind of seemed.
He seemed quieter?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that yes?
Yes.
And then during the dinner, did you all make plans to go out for drinks afterwards?
Yes, we did.
And did Fabio and the defendant go with you guys?
No, they did not.
Was that unusual as well?
Yeah, usually Fab would stick around for a cocktail.
Okay. And the next day, did he have you cancel his golf and the defendant's massage?
Yes.
And was there anything about the defendant's behavior during that event in June in San Diego that was unusual, that you thought was odd?
I thought it was odd that he had me cancel those things because he specifically had me plan them. And he loves to play golf. And then at the breakfast that morning, I felt uncomfortable. I thought it was kind of strange. That was
what?
That Fab seemed to be hanging on her, kind of being over affectionate, I guess, with her.
Okay. And that was unusual?
I thought it was. I thought that normally he would be part of the group.
Okay. And what was the defendant's demeanor?
Quiet.
I think that's interesting for so many reasons, and the main reason why is the context behind this dinner is that it was around June 2016. Now, I want to recall back to the testimony that was made by, I believe it was Luigi Sementilli, about an incident in which Isabella was in the car. I think he said that she was maybe 9 years old or young, something. They were basically young. So I'm trying to like piece together that time because they're relatively older now. So I'm trying to see if it was that time that Fabio may have caught her cheating, and this is what we're seeing manifesting here, where Fabio is trying to like overcompensate, and she was apparently quiet. You know, that's what she's testifying to. So I don't know if it's the other way around, where Fabio himself, I doubt it. I'm just trying to put some context to it, but I don't know if Fabio himself was probably talking to a girl wrong or doing something like that, and they both went into an argument the day before. But just trying to, but at least getting the idea of what was going on around this time is actually quite key. But I want to move on to the next part of the testimony, in which she testified in regards to Monica wanting help regarding the life insurance during the time of after the murder and before the funeral. And she was complaining that Henry had not given her any response and was being agitated, and also and her response to all of it. Let's go listen to that part of the testimony just a little bit. Not gonna spend too long on it.
That the defendant wanted your assistance with.
Yes.
What was that?
Life insurance.
Okay. And what did she say to you, if anything, with respect to the life insurance?
She wanted to know if, well, she had said to me, she says, Henry hasn't gotten back to me. Henry being the head of HR.
Henry Meyer?
Henry Meyer. And she seemed agitated. And I said, it didn't seem like them. They were usually very good about getting back. And I did say to her that I would go back and mention something to Henry, that she had brought it up to me.
This is when you were at the house?
Yes.
And what was she doing when you came to the house?
She had paint samples. She was getting some remodeling done in her first floor.
Okay. Did she tell you that the insurance company
I don't know what's wrong with mine.
had given her money to do that?
Yes, she did.
All right. And what, if anything, did she say with respect to the life insurance?
Just that she wanted to know what was going on with it. She wanted to know where she wasn't getting any kind of response, she felt.
Okay.
And again, all of this is before the funeral. This was already in January. She wanted to know anything about the life insurance. Already, we know, at least I'm starting to get an idea why this would be the case, because we know the charge is already first degree murder. But if she's inquiring about the life insurance this early, that goes to motive. That goes to show that she and Baker wanted to get this life insurance out of the way. And the fact that she even forwarded Baker the email after life insurance was cleared, as we learned last week, it just really adds to the idea that she was really planning all this with to get a life insurance and start a new life with Robert Baker. But the most important part of the testimony comes when she was at the funeral. I think it was at the wake or something like that, and she testifies to seeing a male individual sitting across the room. Let's listen to the testimony right now.
All right. Mm-hmm. And on that following Sunday, January 29th of 2017, did you notice when you were at the event in the backyard that you had assisted in setting up or had set up, anything unusual with respect to her behavior there?
Overruled.
I thought that it was a rather dramatic behavior that was going on.
And did you notice whether or not she was sitting with somebody or with somebody that you didn't recognize?
Yes.
And did you speak to that individual?
I believe I asked, I didn't know who he was. I said, who are you?
And did the individual tell you who he was?
He simply said that he was her racket. He played racquetball with her. He was from the gym.
We know who this is. We know who this is.
Other than that one individual, where do you recall where they were sitting?
Almost across from Fabio's chair that was kept vacant because.
I want to show you. Exhibit 921. Is there a particular chair that Fabio sat in whenever you met with him out here on the patio?
Yes, the one over in the corner.
This one here?
Yes.
Okay. And where was this other male seated? The one that you didn't recognize?
On the sofa.
Across from
There
her?
might have been a chair there. I can't quite remember. There might have been a chair next to the sofa, but it was over in that area.
Other than that individual, did you recognize everybody else that was there in terms of their being close friends?
Yes, there were a few neighbors that had shown up, but they introduced themselves to me.
Neighbors. Nobody else that was
No.
odd or unusual?
No.
Okay, so going back to that chair that she was mentioning, I believe this is the one. I believe, because she says sofa, so I'm guessing it's one of these, or unless it's called couch, maybe it's one. She says that she remembers the chair being here, and immediately my mind goes back to this particular moment in which there was testimony about this particular sofa. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna play the testimony, but it was on Curtis Davis' testimony. I'm not gonna play it, but it was the Facebook post that says, "This is your spot. This where you belong. Forever, I will always keep the fire on for you, waiting." We obviously go back here. That's not really here at all. So that's why I'm guessing it's probably this area, this part here. I don't know what is called sofa in the States. I don't know exactly whether you guys call it couch for something else. I have no idea. But
ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's when I say the strategy is, it's hella effective for so many reasons, because you can pinpoint how she has really set up to, I mean, this is for us, this is for the jury. That's what the state is trying to show, that she was just putting up a front so that she can continue on her life, or this particular life that she was trying to pose to have with the family and try to keep the lifestyle. That is just proving their theories more and more. And let's continue on and finish off her testimony, and then we'll go on to the next witness.
I felt there was like a lot of loud sobbing and just very dramatic, very over the top kind of behavior.
Did you see any tears, like she was actually crying?
Not really.
No tears. Again.
Now, did you also assist in setting up the memorial that
I think that's all I want from her testimony. So the next witness is another one of Rob Baker's friend, and he goes by the name of Ron Ray. Ron Ray, I think I'll just say it straight. You are going to hear the tone anyway, but I think this is one of Rob Baker's friends that doesn't want to be his friend. But in all fairness, this is the person that we got to hear, that we got to see, on the Facebook messages. I believe we got to see him on episode 6 with Curtis Davis, but not just that. I think we also got to hear him. Am I missing it? I think it's Chris Gable as well. But regardless, he testifies to being friends with Robert Baker through racquetball, and also sorry, not through racquetball. They met early on. I think they know each other since the 90s or something like that. And he had also met his ex-wife Nikki Fairchild, maybe the 90s or the noughties, I'm not too sure. But he met her called Nikki Fairchild, who's also known as, well, confirmed really. I was quite shocked to learn that Nikki Fairchild was Devin Michaels, who, if you followed the trial in Nevada, she was found guilty of decapitating her husband. We covered here on this channel. But she also testifies to messages between him and Baker, where Baker had said that Monica and him were planning to go to Las Vegas. I want to go to that part of testimony because that is just this is just the I want to see how because I think this is what I was referring to. I think this is what I was referring to. But we are gonna go through this testimony bit by bit because it just adds to the theory that the state is putting up about Monica doing all this to preserve her life.
Or Monica Baker, as you know her, are planning a vacated Vegas soon.
Yes, we did.
And this again was in November of 2016, correct?
Correct.
On page 9 of People's 206, first. Did the two of you continue talking about his relationship with his girlfriend?
Yes, we did.
And on page 9 of People's 206, did you say to him, well, you were a professional porn star and I lived the life of one?
Yes, I did.
And you asked him if she knows, and he said it intrigues her.
That's correct.
On page 10 of these continuing Facebook messages, did you tell him she loves you for you and that's what matters?
Yes, I did.
And subsequent to that, the defendant respond, yes, she does. Who with my crazy ass life plays R-ball too? What is R-ball?
Racquetball.
And then did you ask him how he met her?
Yes, I did.
And on page 12, did he indicate that he met her at his gym and that she was on him?
Yes, he did.
Trying to get at me and my dumbass did even notice. LLOL.
He meant to say didn't even notice, yeah.
And on the next page, page 13 of this exhibit, did you also ask if she makes money? And he responded, she's got a little money.
Yes.
And did you say to him, that's cool, it will stabilize you when you two move in?
Yes, I did.
On the following page, page 14, the last page of this exhibit, did Robert Baker tell you that he told his girlfriend about Tracy? That would be the wife, the ex-wife that you told us about?
Yes, that's correct.
And that his girlfriend told him to let it all go and that she will take care of all.
Yes.
Now, in February of 2017, did Robert Baker come to Las Vegas and meet up with you?
Yes, he did.
And did the two of you go out for sushi after playing racquetball?
No, we played basketball, and when we met up, well, we used to always make fun of each other, and he had a Band-Aid in his hand, and I said to him, are you going to...
One moment, sir. Stand.
When you played basketball, did you notice anything about his hands?
Yes, he had a Band-Aid in his hand.
And did you make fun of him for having a bandage on his hand?
Yes, I said, are you going to miss all your shots tonight because of that? And he said, I'm still going to kick your butt.
Was that the typical banter between the two of you?
Yeah, we're always teasing each other, laughing, joking, yes.
And Did he tell you who he was staying with when he came to Las Vegas at the beginning of, or sometime in February of 2017?
No, we didn't discuss.
Do you recall being interviewed by detectives who came to your home September 28th of 2017?
Yes, I do.
And did they speak with you and your wife at that point in time?
Yes, they did.
With respect to who Robert Baker was staying with, would it help to look at your transcript of that interview?
Sure.
48 and 114. Just read to yourself, looking at page 48. Just read it to yourself.
Well, birdsong.
Again, to yourself. So that means silently. Did you see that? And now I'm going to turn it to page 114 and read this to yourself.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember who Robert Baker said he was staying with?
Al Birdsong?
Was that somebody that you subsequently met that last time that you saw Baker in Las Vegas with the defendant?
Yes, the first and only time I met him.
And that's why I believe when I said earlier that Robert Birdsong is gonna be, that there might be more testimony around his involvement, but also I want to go into this particular part in regards to receiving Monica's phone number and what he saved the phone number as.
You and Robert Baker and Monica and your wife discussed during this lunch?
Terrible.
So, Monica was going to buy a house in Vegas for Rob, and so I asked Monica if she was planning to move to Vegas, and she said, no, I'm just going to come and go, and we're going to travel to Italy and some other countries, and I'm going to buy this house for Rob. And then she asked me about stock market. I'm a stockbroker, so she was asking me how much money you can make in the market, what kind of things you can do. So we were discussing stock market and how to make investments and make money and things like that. And my wife's a realtor, so Monica was talking to her about potentially buying a house for Rob in Vegas.
So she told you that she was going to buy a house in Las Vegas where Rob would live and she would come and go from there?
That's correct.
Totally.
And then she said that they were going to travel to Italy and other places. When you say she said they, who was she referring to?
Her and Rob.
Okay. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Okay. Is that what she told you, that she and Rob were going to be traveling to Italy and other countries?
Yes, she was talking about specifically about Rob and her traveling.
Did she say anything during this lunch about whether or not she, meaning the defendant, Monica Baker, had any property at that time?
Yes, she said she had a house in LA that she was going to sell, and she was going to get proceeds from that. And it was apparently an expensive house.
Is that what she told you?
That's what she told us.
At any point during this first time that you met the defendant, either at your house or at the lunch with your wife at P.F. Chang's, did she ever mention to you that she had been married?
No, my wife and I had no idea Monica was married to anyone until the day the detective showed up at my house.
All right, that's all.
Monica.
That's all I wanted from there. But I want to go back to the name thing because I think I put down the wrong timestamp. But anyway, I want to go back to the name thing because that is very important for what we're going to talk about later on.
At lunch, did you ask Monica for her last name?
Yeah, Monica actually asked for my phone number. So then I said, hey, I put her number on my phone and I said, what's your last name? And she looked at me and she said, it's a long Italian, complicated last name. And she looked at Rob. They kind of spoke with their eyes, and then Rob said, just put down Baker. So even today on my phone, I have her as Monica Baker on my phone.
I just, okay. So that shows, well, at least in my opinion anyway, that shows the depth of the relationship that they had. And this was when they were basically trying to, you know, sort out this whole realtor thing, trying to basically get a new house, as he has testified to. And the next part is where he was going to meet with Monica to have dinner with his wife, and they apparently went to a nightclub. Let's go into that testimony right now.
Showing you the following page of People's 207, there's a 25 in the lower left corner.
And this was on March 25th, 2017. I'm gonna go back to the timeline to sync it all up, but this was on March 27th.
Recognize what you see here.
Yes, that's on the stage, on VIP stage with the DJ at Intrigue nightclub.
Showing you exhibit 207, there's a 26 in the lower left corner. Do you recognize what you see here?
Yes, that's on the stage at Intrigue nightclub at the VIP section.
And 207, there's a 27 in the lower right corner, left corner. You recognize the individuals in this photograph?
Yes, it's my wife Michelle, Monica, and Robert Baker.
If you ask me, they're living the time of their life. And this is what the timeline signifies, because when we go back now to Curtis Davis, this is the whole context behind the 25th. This is here where the photo was taken. You now know that he was with Ron Ray, and this was earlier before the night began. So all of this is just showing her living her best life after the death of her husband, which she was accused of killing, which of course we now know that she's guilty of. All of this is going on with Ron Ray. Let's listen to the last part of his testimony, and then we're gonna move on to Gail to give us a bit more testimony. Oh.
And did Rob seem like this was normal for him, or did he say anything to you?
No, Rob was upset.
Because that's compound, and also speculation.
Did Rob say anything to you about her behavior that night?
Yes, we went
Where
to the
was that?
We went to the bathroom, Rob and I, and he apologized to me for Monica's behavior because he could tell Michelle and I were very uncomfortable with her acting kind of crazy, and I said it's okay. I said as long as you're happy, I'm okay.
It's not responsive.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on to the to the next part of the testimony and just end it off here, because it just adds on to what everyone was has been testifying to so far.
She act in any manner as if she was experiencing grief for her husband that had been murdered 2 months before?
Not even 1%.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear your answer.
Not even 1%.
Ron Ray is a G. I don't know how close him and Rob are, but his testimony was devastating for a number of reasons. Is he just went through the whole friendship that these guys share. Yeah, I don't know if they're friends now still, but definitely the wife being at Vegas with them and, you know, testifying to how Monica was acting all naughty, etc., being like a schoolgirl. I know that was sustained, but can you unring that from your mind? We don't know. And touching his private parts, and even Rob having to come and apologize. It doesn't strike you as someone that is being stalked. I'm just saying. Let's move on to the next testimony, which is by Gail. I know we've had a lot to go through, but we're almost there. Yeah, so this is it. This is where a lot of the moments that have been building up is building up to this moment. So let's continue. This is one of the salesmen who was dating. She worked at Ford. She was the one that was handling the trade between Monica with Fabio's old vehicle for a new Mustang. Let's watch.
You're here in court today?
I'm looking for her. I don't know where she is. Where's the long hair? I don't even know.
Let me ask you, this lady over here in the beige jacket with the ponytail?
Yes.
Is that Monica Sementilli?
Well, girl, you look a little different. Yes.
Okay.
It's the same thing with Cesar. Aviles could not point her out, could not even recognize her because of how much prison has changed this woman. She has been in prison for since 2017, so this is the first time that she's had trial. I didn't even think that was really possible, but of course it affects you. So anyway, she testifies in regards, Gail Burlingame testifies in regards to Monica coming into a dealership on the 3rd and said that Monica, she couldn't really take out or purchase a vehicle because of insurance and money issues. Let's listen to her testimony right here.
I just want to make sure, you told us that when she returned from Canada, or before she returned to the dealership the 3rd time, when you spoke with her by phone, she told you that she had received the life insurance money, wanted to turn in the truck, and buy herself a new car. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. After that, did the defendant come in to the dealership to meet with you on April 3rd of 2017?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point in time, did she reiterate to you that she had received her husband's life insurance? It had just taken longer than she had expected.
Sustained.
Yes.
What did she say to you?
Yes. Everything took a lot longer than I expected, she said. And I said yes. And she said she got the money and she didn't want to keep the truck and she was going to buy a car.
Okay. And did she seem to you to be upset, worried? What was her demeanor on that date?
Okay. On that day, her demeanor, she was very happy. And I was still trying to tell her to keep the truck.
Okay. So you guys were going in 2 different directions. Okay. And at that point in time, did she begin looking at new vehicles on the lot to purchase?
Yep, she did.
Did you, given her prior expressions to you about being broke and not having any money and being desperate for money, ask her what her budget was so that you could assist her in choosing a vehicle that would be appropriate?
Yes, I did.
And what did she say when you asked her what her budget was?
She said she didn't know.
Okay. And so initially, what did you do?
I said, okay, let's go out and look at the cars. So we went out and I started with a Ford Focus, a cheaper car, and we drove that. And then she said, oh, not this. And then we went to the next car up and we drove that. And it kind of went on for 4 hours or 5 hours. I was with her. We drove all these cars. And we finally got up to the Mustangs. She decided she was going to go that route. And she wanted a convertible. We finally found a convertible. We drove, and her demeanor then, she's like, "Oh my God, I feel like Thelma and Louise with you." So we, she was happy, and I'm like, okay. And then she's like, "But I don't want this car. I don't like the color."
What color was it?
Doesn't matter. It's like a silver. It wasn't
didn't
black.
like the color of
She
the
wanted a
convertible.
black one.
Okay.
So we didn't have a convertible in that. So we did have the GT in black.
She wanted a black vehicle, and did she also want a certain color rim?
Yes. Oh yeah. The rims are really important. She got the black rims, and she wanted to upgrade on that. And I said, yeah, okay.
Okay. And
I mean, you look smug now, but just
during
I don't know why she's making his
the 4 to 5
face
hours that she was with you driving cars, did she keep leveling up to more expensive options?
Yep. We drove every car.
Okay. And did she make any phone calls in your presence during that day?
Yeah, she did. She made several.
So, did you try to talk her out of the Mustang GT?
Overruled.
No, just that's what she wanted. I mean, I was hoping that she'd still keep the truck, but for
Did
the
you
kids.
tell her that the Mustang GT, the back seat, if she had kids, was like a
Oh yeah,
sardine can?
yeah, definitely. If you've been in a Mustang, your legs are all crunched up if you sit in the back.
Okay.
So obviously the kids weren't going to be riding in it.
Did you, when she finally settled on the new 2017 Mustang GT, did she say anything to you?
Yeah, she was happy. I got this car. I really love this. I feel like I can start my life again. I just feel like I have a new start. And, I was like, you go, good for you.
Now, at some point in time, you still felt bad for her, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I did feel bad for her.
man. It's overruled.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I did feel bad for her because, obviously I'm with this woman, his husband got murdered, and,
She told you eventually when
Yeah,
she came in
Yeah, she did.
that her husband had been murdered.
Yeah. That was probably the second time. It was the second
Okay.
time.
Second time you met with her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At some point during the 4 to 5 hours, did she talk to you? Did she make a call to someone and then ask you about having perhaps a friend come in to assist her?
Yes, she did. Right at the end, yes.
Okay. And did she tell you that she wanted to have her friend drive the vehicle before she purchased it?
Yes, she did.
That was something she wanted to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And approximately 30 minutes later, after she made a call, did someone come into the dealership in Thousand Oaks?
Yes, a person came in that she named as her friend Robert.
Okay.
Oh God.
Her friend Robert showing you People's 14. Was this her friend Robert?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So he came into the dealership.
Yes, he did.
And I love this because they're now starting to bring Robert into the picture and starting to make people identify him, so that now we get the full idea of Robert and Monica being together. That's clever.
And at the point in time when he came in, were you guys out on the lot? Were you sitting in an office? Where were you?
We were in the office waiting.
Okay. And did she introduce this individual to you in People's 14 as her friend Robert?
Yes, she did.
And did she tell you and Robert that it was important that he liked the vehicle as well?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
And at that point, did you engage Robert in conversation?
Yes, I did. Just typical, like, what do you do?
And did the defendant tell you that he was a cop in New Orleans, but he quit?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Once the defendant told you that he had been a cop in New Orleans, did you ask him questions about that?
Overruled.
I did ask him questions because I.
Hold on a second. Before we continue on with this, Robert, just want to put it down here. Robert Baker, cop in. Hold up. Oh gosh, it's not even in view. I apologize. Oh wow, I didn't even realize until now. Yeah, cop in New Orleans, which is Louisiana, I think it is. LA, part of that area. Anyway, just the depths that you would go into to just continue this lie.
Love New Orleans. And I said, oh, that must have been a tough job. I know that it can be tough in there. And he said, yes. And I said, so where did you work? Like in what parish or what ward? And he just said, all over. I go, oh, really? Did you work in the 9th ward? And I have friends that live in the 9th ward that are musicians, and it can be, And so he didn't even know what the 9th ward was. And so I just thought, okay, this is a total lie. I don't know where this is happening. And
so at that point, did you ask him if he was still a cop or whether he worked in the LA area?
Yeah. And he said he was in between, and then he said something about doing some security work.
Okay. And at that point, did the defendant tell you that she really wanted her friend Robert to drive the vehicle?
Oh, yes. She did want him to drive the car. They went back and forth. Please, I want you to drive the car. No, it's okay. It's going to be your car. No, it's really important to me. I want you to drive the car. Well, it is what happened.
So,
When there's an objection, you gotta stop talking. So
okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay?
Okay.
All right.
at that point, was there a conversation back and forth between the defendant and Baker where she was trying to get him to drive the car?
Yes,
And he was indicating he didn't need to?
he did.
Okay. And so at that point, did you try and encourage him to drive the vehicle?
I did.
Speak up, counsel. Overruled.
I encouraged. She wanted him, and I'm going to do what she needs. It was important to her. He was there. So I said, I go, come on. So I did the little thing where you just like, I just stood up. And then they stood up, and I'm like, good, he's going to drive the car because she wants that, right? And then I said, can I have your license? And he sat back down. He goes, oh, no. He goes, I don't need to drive it. And then she's like, no. And then he kind of went like this, and, you know.
When
and
you say like this, you cocked your head to the side?
He's like talking to her, and finally she's like, oh, okay. So I got
Let me ask you something.
that they didn't want to give me the license.
Okay. So once it became apparent to you that they didn't want to give you his license, is it a requirement at the dealership that you have to provide your license before you test drive a vehicle?
Yes, I told them it was just for insurance benefits. We have to have the license.
So after that, did it appear to you that she was prodding him, trying to get him to do what she wanted him to do?
Yes.
One moment. It is
Yes.
leading. One moment, ma'am. It is leading a false declaration.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that's all I wanted from her testimony in regards to how Robert came into the dealership, what he was acting. I'm very surprised. I'm actually very surprised that they didn't think that he would need to give his license. In my opinion, I actually thought that it's common knowledge. I mean, I've never, the last time I went, and this is in England, so this is different. But the last time I went to go for a test drive, they literally had to have my license on record. So how they didn't anticipate this, because it looks messy. It looks like they were just way over their heads and really believe that they got away with it with what they have done. Because all of this, I believe this was around the 3rd of April where this was happening. And she, before this, we didn't even get into the insurance part that Gail Burlingame, I believe that's how you say her name, was testifying to, because the insurance testimony was when Monica came in, she said to her that she was waiting on the insurance money to basically come through. And then when the insurance money came through, that's when she went into the dealership. So now a bit of that context, because we know from Chris Gable that the insurance money had been sanctioned for release. So that was around March. So now we gain that fine time frame because something has to explain the forwarding of the email. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I will have it ready for the next show to put it all in context. But what she's testifying to is very key and very pivotal to the movements and action. And I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get more around this. But the last witness that I'm going to focus on is Mitzi Roberts. We're not gonna go through all of her testimony because her testimony is pure depth. So, and she began, I think Trial Channel calls her the final boss of all detectives. But we're gonna go through all of her timeline and the timeline that she went through. So we're not gonna go through all of it. I'm going to only cover until what time? I'm only gonna cover until 12:43 p.m. So not that much. I'm gonna try and get up to that. But we have a lot of our testimony to go. So this is just, treat this as a preview, not as the final piece, because there's so much to really unpack in regards to all of these times, because the way that it's all being squished in, we have to go back. It's compulsory. We need to go back to Ryan Verner's testimony to see how it all lines up, in my opinion, because there was some things there that was mentioned in his testimony that has to kind of be related to this testimony, as well as Curtis Davis. I don't think we received much of around this time from Chris Gable, not that I can remember anyway. But let me just try and get it. So she testifies in regards to she was the detective that took over the case in 2000. I believe she said she took over the case on October 2019. So this was well after the investigations and all of those things. She took over, put everything into timeline, collected all the information. Now she's actually a writer for a TV show. We all may have heard about it. I've heard about it. I've never seen it, but I've definitely heard about it when I used to watch. I forgot what channel was it. It wasn't Paramount, but maybe it was Fox. Maybe it was when I was growing up. But it's called Bosch, and Ballard. Sorry, it's a spin-off of Bosch. My bad. But I've never heard of Ballard. But I've definitely heard of Bosch. And the main character apparently is based on her, which is a great feat. To have a main character based on you for your detective work, that's a great feat, and she's writing it. So I think that's a great way to introduce herself. But nonetheless, it starts off here.
Okay.
So as we can see,
and is that also represented on the timeline that we see in the center of the screen, where it has a purple section that says Viber and an N with an arrow towards B at 6:50 and 19 seconds?
Yes, and it will look like that throughout the presentation when Monica sends a Viber message to Robert Baker.
Okay, let's move on. So that's all I wanted. So Monica, initially they both left the house. This is why it's important, because a lot of the testimonies around this, the housekeeper gave testimonies, which we can refer back to kind of give a bit of context from 8 until 2, which we will need to refer back to, which is why the next dives in regards to this is going to be really like, I want you guys to really indulge in this with me. But this was so this was the communications from the hours of 6 until 8. Not much was going on, and then from literally nowhere, they just started messaging each other back and forth. They were having Viber messages back back and forth. And I have even made a document to opine in regards to this, because this is a lot of messages back and forth. Again, more and more messages from, this was from 10, and then Baker decides to call her. We don't know what these communications are. We don't know exactly what was said on the phone call, because obviously she wasn't, I don't think she was wiretapped at this time, at this point. She couldn't have been anyway. But anyway, so Fabio leaves the residence, and I think that again, I need to go back to see the context, but I think that that's going to be what happens around this time is going to be filled in later on. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I feel like they're gonna fill in a lot of what was happening at this time later on. I don't know. It's my educated guess. Look at those messages again. Keep that in mind. Jessica returns back to, well, no, sorry, not Jessica. Jessica returns back into the residence, and sorry, Jessica and Monica goes to LA Fitness. Sorry, my bad. And Fabio was the one returning to residence. They were at LA Fitness. This is where we were on, I believe, on the last episode, with Chris Gable testifying to Robert Baker getting injuries from racquetball. So this is the context behind it. Apparently, Monica and Jessica went into LA Fitness. Fabio went in through the workers' entrance, so it was different procedures for him, and they enjoyed themselves at LA Fitness, blah blah. I don't know if these two interacted at LA Fitness, but of course, Beth Silverman had to made it known and highlight the fact that there was no Viber communications around this time when they were in LA Fitness. So this is continuing on with that, and this is where we get to the pivotal point in which this is where this is
Getting
hold
something.
up, sorry about that. Okay, so let's get into it.
Her carrying any kind of a bloody towel that was dripping blood or anything of that nature?
Show a rule.
No.
And when you previously saw Robert Baker leaving 15 seconds prior to the defendant, did you see him walking out with nursing any injury or wrapped with his hand in any kind of a towel or anything of that nature?
No, I didn't.
All right. All right. And what is the next thing that we see represented on the timeline at this point at 12:46?
That is Monica sending a message to Fabio, just letting him know we are on our way home.
And again, since at this point when she's communicating with her husband, she's not using an encrypted app, we have the actual content of that message. Is that right?
Oh gosh, sorry about that. Did not realize I didn't share the screen.
And what we see here, again, coming up at 12:46 now in 19 seconds. So basically 8 seconds later.
That's again Monica sending a message to Fabio. Did get it fixed.
Okay, so all of this timeline, this is when, in my opinion, everything does kind of split, and we now get, so this is one side where everything looks normal, and I'm gonna go a bit before I do finish off, because I'm not gonna, there's a lot more to come from Mitzi. This is nothing. There is more that I want to cover with her. But I just wanted to focus on this first part, because the next episode we're going to be diving deep into these communications, and then I'm going to decide whether we're branching off, because I have no idea. This is part 3 now of the same idea of unmasking Monica, but I feel like the that the mask has fully lifted, and they're now going to get into the substance of what they have to pin Monica into it. So this might be the final part. I don't know, but because this is obviously rolling on, and I'm still learning about the case, the masking could continue on to later on. But based on what's come out so far, I think this might be a change of chapter, because the reason why I say that is because all of this timeline seems to be a massive attack on the defense theory of Baker stalking her, because I do this thing called trial notes, and I'm gonna start releasing it now, where I make trial reports of the key testimonies with their timestamps. So I'm gonna start releasing it for the Monica Sementilli trial from week 1 to week 5 that we're on, because this is very key. If Baker was stalking this girl and Monica wants to get rid of him, this would be maybe a good indication of that happening. Then you have Monica returning back, Baker and they're communicating back and forth. You could argue that at this point Monica is expressing, leave me alone, do all those things. But it's when it gets to 10 and 11, because at this point we have to remember that I believe Delia leaves, the housekeeper arrives, Isabella leaves, and then the communication bombards. And then at one point Fabio leaves the house, and there was a call that was made to Monica before Fabio leaving the house. And I thought that was very key, because Baker calls her first and then Monica calls back. None of this is communicating that this person wants to be left alone. In fact, this is kind of showing the dangers of having an encrypted app, because if you really believe that you were being stalked and harassed and you were telling this person to get rid of me, the only thing that can exonerate you are those encrypted conversations that you were having over the phone, which if you reveal that on this thread that we're seeing, it would have shown that these two were not talking. But this is very abnormal, and I think this is where this is abnormal communications for someone that is, you would think that people planning a hit would have a bit more tact, and this is where I think the defense theory was born, because of this communication chain. I really believe that this is where it was born, because you would want to plan all this out before, maybe send a few messages, not this many, because this is a lot. This is a lot leading up to the LA Fitness, and we're gonna get into all of this, because it doesn't just stop there. There's more communications between Baker and Monica on Viber messaging back and forth. This shouldn't. I want to know what you're talking about so much within this timeline. I would like to know what you're talking about that you just can't resolve over the phone, because it just doesn't look, it doesn't even look sus. It just looks weird, because you're planning to get the hit, or, well, according to the state's theory anyway, the hit is being planned at this point. So I really believe that a lot of the defense theory about the stalking, all of those things, is coming from the massive communications here. And what we already learned from Chris Gable was Monica was at the car park at Target, sending and communicating with Baker at that time. So we already know that was happening at Target. We're gonna get into all of it next week. I appreciate every single one of you for following me on this trial. Before I do go, I just want to give an update in regards to the Celeste Rivas case. For all that don't know, we did bring this case has not really gone into court yet, but I just want to bring a quick update in regards to that, because we covered it on, I think, episode 3 or 2. Episode 3, I believe, of the show, when the news start. Now, it has been said that the body of Celeste has been found in a frozen state. Cause of death may never be determined. And it says, and this was Celeste's body had been frozen, and as a result, it looks like LA County Medical Examiner would not be able to establish a cause of death. Sources directly connected to the investigation tell TMZ, according to those sources, that the medical examiner received the body in horrendous composition. It was decapitated, and while the torso was intact, the limbs had been removed and cut into multiple pieces. We are told the body parts were partially frozen and had apparently been thawing out while sitting in the trunk of David's Tesla. Remember, David's vehicle has not been moved for several days when it was parked on Hollywood Hills Street near his rental home, which resulted in it getting towed and then the body being found. As TMZ reported, Celeste's body was in bad shape. Investigators did not know if it was male or female. As TMZ, when the body was received by the medical examiner's office, the initial determination was this was a victim of an apparent homicide, but our sources say that the ME is now having trouble establishing an official manner or cause of death, and it will most likely be undetermined. So that's basically it, because they're saying here that that David is considered a suspect. It's not really official yet, but it's only the investigators anyway that they view him as a suspect. So it's not really the end of the story yet, but that's just the only update that I've seen in regards to the Celeste River case that I thought I bring an update to, because I want to see this case through. I want to follow it and see if it goes to trial and see who covers it, because it's very interesting how this man is involved, and apparently they were in a relationship. Nothing verified. I'm not making any allegations or anything like that. I'm just regurgitating what I have heard reported by Lauren Conlin. When I first heard the story, we discussed it on the previous stream, on episode 3, I believe. But there's no real story. But another story that I came across is the story of Anna Kepner. Anna Kepner, who and I believe Twitter has been all over this. I just want to quickly go into this, because Anna Kepner is is a 17-year-old girl that was found dead on a cruise, I believe, and a Twitter user that goes by the name of Rose has given a timeline of events that I thought is interesting, because I don't know how far this story is going, because the farthest, what really caught my eye anyway is the mother pleading, I think invoking her Fifth Amendment right, which is weird, because apparently the night that Anna Kepner died, Anna had left dinner early and gone back to her cabin after saying she did not feel well. It is important to note that Anna was staying in a room on the cruise ship with her two brothers, her biological 14-year-old brother and a 16-year-old stepbrother. They were staying in bunk beds and she had a bed to herself. Her two siblings headed back to the room later that evening, where her younger brother changed his clothes and left again to take pictures of the carnival horizon. When her younger brother came back, he noticed Anna wasn't in bed, but he assumed she went out again. He thought nothing of it and went to sleep. Anna was seen on the ship's surveillance footage returning to her room and was never seen leaving. The next day, when his sister had returned, the rest of Anna's family realized that she was missing, while her father searched the ship for Anna. A medical emergency was announced on the loudspeaker. A cleaning crew had discovered Anna's body crammed under her bed. So that's Anna there. That's a picture. I had to note it because there was more posted around the story when Lauren Conlin decided following it. I love her coverage. She basically said that that according to the press email from Inside Edition, they spoke with her father, Anna's ex-boyfriend Joshua, who said his son witnessed a troubling moment during the FaceTime call. According to Father Steve Weston, his son told him, "I tried to tell her parents that this was happening, but they didn't want to believe me. He saw her stepbrother come into the room when she was sleeping and get on top of her. He's infatuated, attracted to her like crazy. He always wanted to date her." And this was apparently the email of all of that happening. The press email, sorry. So this was where I officially heard about the case, and then I started having to dig into it. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I just wanted to give an overview so that when we do get into near the end of Monica Sementilli, or at least a period in which I can dig into a bit more into this story and get a bit more information, I can bring it out on this updates segment and dig a bit more into it before it goes into any courtroom, because it doesn't. This is all happening in Florida, apparently. This is all happening in the state of Florida. So I'm not sure if anyone has been. I don't think it's been charged. I think no. There is a civil. From what I've seen, it's only a civil case that's going on, which I haven't looked at. But I don't believe, I haven't seen anything about a criminal charges following all of this. So I will monitor it, but I just heard about all this today. So it's like a raw look into all of this. I haven't done a deep dive on it. But yeah, so let me just end the poll that I've been running. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate every single one of you for joining in. Now, I do want to apologize for all of the technical difficulties on this particular stream. I hope that you guys did enjoy the stream regardless. It definitely won't happen like this again. It's all of this, I'm still sorting out the interface and trying to get used to it. It's OBS. It's quite difficult if you make a step of foot wrong. But anyway, I hope that you guys did enjoy the show, and I'm so happy to hang out with you guys. We'll be back next week to go through a lot more of this. I can't tease. I will say it'll be dominated by Mitzi Roberts, because her testimonies have been extensive, so it will be dominated around her. But I need to watch the other testimonies. Like I said, I haven't seen this case, so it's a journey. Even though I'm breaking down, like, it's just me breaking down on the fly as if I would have recorded it, or at least I would have seen it live. I can't stream live. Sorry, I just can't watch a case live. I need to know. I get cognitively slow, if that makes sense. I don't know. I've got a weird brain, but anyway. But this is why it's here. This is why I want to do it like this, because at least I get to do something I really enjoy doing, which is just breaking down cases and just, trying to get to the substance of the truth and what narratives are being put. And to be honest, like I've always said, I don't pick a side. I don't try to. I just go where the story goes. I just go where, not a story per se, but I just go where the evidence goes, really. And if the defense were doing a good job, I would highlight that the defense is doing a good job, and I'm talking about Monica Sementilli here, but also other trials as well. If they are doing good things, I would definitely highlight. And I was highlighting that initially from when the stream started. I thought the defense had made okay jabs, and I still think that the objections have been on point. And that's what they're being paid for, really, because at the moment it's falling off the heels. The wheels are falling off, sorry, and you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it on hold that's been happening today. So I know I had to fit a lot in terms of the number of witnesses that testified this particular week, but hopefully with all of that happening, that you've been able to follow and you've been able to see the one of the many ways that the state may have delivered this guilty verdict, because I think the way that they have played and, ordered their witnesses, the way that they have strategized for this particular trial has been exquisite for me. There's a lot of emotional payoff. There's a lot of emotional payoff going on. But nonetheless, I'll just end it there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure, if you want to suggest a case and you think that there's a case that we should cover, make sure that you head over to the Ketchup Court website and let me know of the cases that you guys have in mind. Make sure you send over, fill in the form, really easy, or send over an email, whatever it might be. Just write down the case that you guys think, hey, take a look at this, and then I will endeavor to do just that. It's ketchupcourt.info. I'll leave the link in the description as well as the comment section. Anyways, I go by name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and I'll see you next week for Source and Order for another exposing of Monica Sementilli's episode. Take care of yourself. Bye for now. Thank you everyone for tuning in for another Ketchup Court live stream. Make sure that you smash that like button as well as hitting that subscribe button to be notified of our future live streams. We go live regularly, bringing you case updates and recaps of ongoing trials, so make sure you hurry back on the next live stream. We also have more content on the channel that you can binge on. Check out the playlist that we have showcasing all of these contents. Without further, I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and I'll see you back in court.